There's a guitar in there.
Do you know what I was thinking? The picture of me you used looks like I'm the lead singer of the band that's playing. But like on a reunion tour 30 years after they like fell apart.
Yeah, after the one hit.
Still rocking. Oh, punching over.
Right, all right. Brand new episode of How'd We Get Here? We have an entire friend group with us, very creative creators. I'm going to go ahead and let them go around and introduce themselves, starting with Mr. Fraser. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good, Johnny. How you doing? I'm Fraser Campbell. I'm a comics writer from Falkirk in Scotland. You might know me from Alex Automatic, The Edge of, House of Sweets, or most recently The Berg.
I have a really funny story. Like, I think my first interaction with you was on Twitter, and I had just gotten the book indexed off of Kickstarter, and I posted a quick review saying how much I loved it. And John pops up into the mentions underneath it and goes, "Johnny, mate, you credited the wrong Fraser Campbell. I credited a soccer player."
Yeah. There was an English stalker, but he's retired now, I think, called Fraser Campbell with a Z, who played initially for Man United, but I think he spent most of his career at like sort of like Sheffield United or lower division clubs. But yeah, I mean, obviously we get mixed up all the time with my athletic build and sportsmanlike outlook.
Iain, sir, how are you doing today? You want to?
I'm doing well, thanks. Thanks for having me. My name's Iain, and I drew the comics that John and Fraser wrote. Fraser, I did The Edge of and House of Sweets, and with John I did And Then Emily Was Gone and Quilt. And I feel I'm forgetting one. No, I think that's the ones I drew. So I don't think that's it. Isn't it? Am I forgetting one? I feel I'm forgetting one. I feel John's looking at me like I'm forgetting one and I've offended him. No? Right, okay. Cool.
And last but not least, like, he needs no introduction, but we're going to let him give himself one anyways.
Oh, yeah. I'll be leaving if you don't let me introduce myself. I am John Lees. I am a writer from Glasgow, Scotland. I'm known for And Then Emily Was Gone, Sink, Hotel, The Crimson Cage, Mountainhead. Most recently, I've done The Nasty with Folk Comics.
Yep.
Building quite the resumes for yourself.
Yeah.
all good stuff. All good stuff too. So.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So I'm really excited because how I got to know all of you was pretty much through Johnny, then through John, and then John dropped the, and then Emily Was Gone, and that's how I got to know Iain's work. And then when Fraser had his Kickstarter going, John dropped a message on social saying that my buddy has a book coming up. If you guys are interested to help promote it, we send you some review copies. And that's how I got to know Fraser as well. And man, it's such a blast to have you guys all on here at the same time. I don't know if you get the opportunity.
Fraser was everything to me. Everything.
Blame me for everything, you mean?
Yeah. But there's one book I would love to get my hands on that I cannot find anywhere is Iain's book, Horror Mountain. That's one of the first things John had talked about of your work in his newsletters. And I was like, It sounds so good. And when I found a link, but the place where they're selling it, they only sell physical copies, and I couldn't get a hold of it because it's sold out. I don't know if it's available anywhere digitally or not. Or
I can send you. I think I've still got a file of it. There was really only a few physical copies. It was a friend of mine, Gavin Lees. He sort of printed them up for a bit of a laugh and stuff like that, and gave them out. I think it was at a Seattle convention and stuff like that. So it was always just intended to be, it was never like intended to be something that I would be selling or anything like that. But I think I'm sure I've got a file somewhere, so I can definitely send it over to you. It's raw. It's really raw. I mean, there's at least two things in it I'm still really proud of, like really genuinely think yeah, I did something good there, but a lot of it's nonsense. So you can,
I remember when Horror Mountain first came out. It was like Glasgow Comic Con 2012, wasn't it? And it was like causing like a sensation in the show floor because I don't think you were even officially selling it. We're just kind of like passing it around, and folk were kind of walking up and going in their jacket. Have you seen Iain Laurie's Horror Mountain? And it's like the way I describe it, it's like a sketch show transmission from hell, essentially. Like, you know, where you have like these little skits, like, you know. And it's just so, for me, that blew me away. I still think it's one of the best things ever to come out.
Thank you. I could get very, very pretentious about what the actual, you know, what the whole thing was, but basically, I did me and Fraser did a comic, and it, you know, for various reasons, I don't know if you like it, but it didn't quite happen. So he kind of went away from comics, and I just decided I'm going to start doing really experimental stuff. So I did this kind of. I had a sort of blog, and I published these comics called Poughkeepsie, and they were just kind of really weird. It was almost like trying to do an experimental film. Oh, there you go, an experimental film, like as a comic. And then from that, somebody just put a bunch of them together. So and it did way better. Oh yeah, that's one of my favourite ones. That one as well. Yeah, but yeah, I did not expect there was an audience for that one in any way. Do you know what I mean? So it was nice that people like John and then other people sort of picked up on it. So that was nice.
You'd be surprised, man. Like there's fandoms for pretty much anything.
That's not a good thing, though, is it? I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah, because I genuinely love your work. Like
thank you.
After I read And Then Emily Was Gone, I was like, I gotta find more stuff by this guy. This is fantastic. Like I love, like your style complements like this weird surreal existential kind of off-putting. Like it definitely adds to the tone so well in the books that like a horror or like this weird off-putting tone to a story. I mean, it's just fantastic. It just elevates the story, right? So I was like, I got to find more of your stuff. So I started digging, and let me tell you, your work isn't the easiest thing to find. So I'll give people a quick rundown on where they can find stuff, because I did some digging, and I found you can go on. Fraser has a site for his. I guess it's your imprint is called Cabal Comics.
That's right. Yeah.
Cabal Comics. Iain does a few books with Fraser there that you can pick up. I don't know if there's still physical copies, but they have PDFs and physical copies available if they're not sold out. You could always refer to the PDF copy and buy a digital copy of it.
Some physical copies left of both. Not many of House of Sweets. But, we did quite a run on the edge of, basically because we got a Frank Whiteley cover, but which sold very well, as you might imagine. I can't think why.
Who knew?
But yeah, there's a few of those, but yeah, they're available digitally and physically.
Well, it's funny you say that kind of, but I was on Reddit when I was looking for stuff of Iain's, and a Reddit came up where you did a portrait of The Question. You did a drawing, and one of the first comments on it was Frank Quietly, like someone referred to him, so they thought, you know, you and he have a very parallel styles, like, to your art. So I was like, yeah, man. I mean,
what I'd say, well, the one thing is obviously I'm friends with him as well, so it's like it's kind of weird talking about him as Frank Quietly, but I think he both of us didn't come into comic drawing from like traditional comic places, if you know what I mean. He was really influenced by like Scottish comics like Oor Wullie and the Broons, which was drawn by a guy called Dudley Watkins. And when I was a wee boy, I'd learned to draw by copying drawings from a book of my dad's, which turns out was by Dudley Watkins as well. So we both kind of started from the same place. But to be honest, he's such a force in Scottish comics. I think he's the first person I'm really aware of, someone from Glasgow is drawing superhero comics, and it was kind of mind blowing at the time. So I think a lot of English kind of comic artists, I think, took a lot from Dave Gibbons and Brian Bolland, and I think most Scottish artists take a wee bit from Frank Whiteley. I think just because he was such a big deal, to be honest. And it's subconsciously sometimes. I think I can see a lot of his stuff in my stuff. I can see a lot of other people. I can see a lot of Ken Reid, the old British comics artist. There's some Alan Davis in there because he was a big influence on me as well. There's some Dan Clowes in there, some Jeff Lemire in there. So it's kind of like there's a lot of you know, a lot of people in there that I can see. You know what I mean? Just because I've been influenced by a certain way of telling a story, and I thought, okay, well, yeah, okay. But hopefully there's a bit of me in there as well. So
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and someone else you did quite a bit of work for that I managed to find some books of yours was you did quite a bit of work with Craig Collins.
Yes.
So if you go on Big Cartel, Craig Collins' Big Cartel page or Gumroad page, you can find physical copies or digital copies of Ian's work there too. So anyone who's out there looking for work from Ian, these are the places you can find it. And of course, the work he did with John is probably the easiest stuff to find. Like, and then Emily Was Gone and Quilt, you can find those things.
Just to say, those comics, as I get, some of the art is a bit rough, but they are worth it for Craig's writing. I think Craig's like a bit of an unsung genius, and some of the ideas he came up with are incredible. You know what I mean? So definitely worth checking out.
Craig. Like the one you did with Craig.
Yeah, I mean, it's all Craig. It's all Craig. His writing's still really strong in there, even though some of the drawings are there. But you know,
Craig started drawing more for himself in the last few years. He doesn't do very much, but he did a genuinely hilarious. What he does is he takes sort of ordinary things, ordinary everyday things, and just sort of mixes it with horror or just sort of gothic elements, or just things like sort of your hard fantasy or whatever. So he did a really weird fanzine. Basically based on the Friends character Ross Geller. There's a Ross Geller fanzine, but it's like Ross Geller, like somebody's arm or something like that, or just really weird off-kilter stuff. It was one of the. I can remember.
It was what was the one? Was it Clive Barker's Magic Marker? Do you remember that one? It was just Clive Barker going about with like a Sharpie, just writing stuff on bus stops. That was the story, and it's nobody else. Yeah, incredible.
Another brilliant sort of punish one, which was it Seamus Heaney's Heinous Anus?
Yeah, I do that. That was one of mine. That's the one where Seamus Heaney explodes while he's doing the speech and stuff like that. Yeah, actually, so hard to draw. So much detail on that.
Nobody else wouldn't cross anybody else's mind to do.
No. Unique talent there. Yeah.
Cool. Then after that, through John, because this is John's third time on the show, because Johnny and Fulci were huge fans of John, so we got John on the show early on when we first started, and then through John, I got to know Fraser's work. And the first thing I read from Fraser was recently he launched a Kickstarter for the Berg. And let me tell you, Johnny and I got our hands on that and we read it and we're like, oh damn, this is a great fucking like a love letter to like old 80s like 70s 80s horror flicks, like we loved it. Like it was a great book. You successfully kickstarted it too, so I mean that's fantastic.
Yeah, thanks very much. I mean, I should say I co-wrote that with my friend Sarah Peplow, who is brilliant. So that helps make me look good. But yeah, I mean, and we got Gavin Mitchell doing the artwork. He was assisted by JP Jordan on colours, and we had Colin Bell on lettering, who's done a lot of our comics, all three of our comics.
Yeah, pretty much all of them. Yeah.
So it was a great team, and it all just sort of came together. It was one of these sort of good synergy kind of ones, and it did really well. I'm really happy with how it did. I'm still dealing with it. It's kind of at the point now where I'm just finishing up dealing with the admin of getting it out there to people and stuff like that.
The fulfillment,
yeah, it's just people who didn't get packages and stuff like that. With a wee bit of a snafu getting stuff over to the States, but it's all sorted now. And it's but it just shows you that. I mean, we launched that. I can't remember. Was it about 4 or 5 months ago? And
about that.
These things, Kickstarters last for a long time. The fulfillment and all the admin and stuff like that. But there you go. It went really well. I'm pleased with it.
But the Berg is a special comic. It's just really good. And I like all Fraser's stuff, but like the Berg is just like one of my favourite things of the year so far. It's just like one of these books I just want to tell everybody about it whenever I'm talking about comics.
It just struck me as like a film that young Fraser would be watching like on Saturday night on the TV, and Alex Automatic would be on about the back at 6 o'clock, and then the
Yeah.
Berg would be on about 10 o'clock at night.
Well, Ian, you know me, and you know that
Too well.
If I'm good at anything, it's good at doing kind of, I don't know, Alan Bleasdale's John Carpenter movie. You know what I mean? It's like
that's it. Yeah, that's it.
Ian and I, John's a bit younger than us, but Ian and I sort of grew up in an era where on TV you had really top writers writing, television plays and stuff like that. You'd see, stuff like Boys from the Black stuff and Play for Today and all that kind of stuff. Just really top class people writing for the BBC, writing for ITV, Dennis Potter, people like that, and. Angela Carter, folk like that, would just write plays. Stephen Poyakoff. This was just telly. This, and obviously, again, we grew up in an era where there was 3, then 4 channels. There's now obviously a billion channels, so you didn't really have much of a choice but to watch this culture and absorb it. And a lot of it was sort of social realism about how tough life was in the 70s and 80s, and that bled into almost everything I've done, I think. So I mean, the Berg really is 2 people from the UK, working class people from the UK, who kind of, have done a British working class version of a Carpenter movie as a comic, really.
But I mean, for a one shot, like there's a lot in there. You get full characters, you get a full story, and it doesn't feel like you got ran through it. Like it legitimately is very well paced too. Like it's an incredible little one shot, man. The Berg is tip top, and I agree with John. It's one of the best of the year, man.
Thanks, man. That's amazing. Thanks for saying that. I love a one shot. I love a done in one. Again, this goes back to something Ian and I talk about. I've talked about since we were kids. When we were growing up, we didn't have comic shops, so if we got comics, it was usually remaindered stuff that would come over as ballast from the States, and it would just be random issues of stuff that would turn up in the post office or the newsagents. It would have little clips out of it, so you knew it was returned, and they would sell them for like 5p or whatever it was. And sometimes you'd get the second part of a 3-part story or whatever. So, you would just buy whatever you could, but it was great when you got the whole story and one comic. So I've always been really fond of one shots, and I've really been fond of doing one shots. Quite a lot of my comics are one shots. I've only really done 2 series, and the rest of them, again, that's to do with the economics of running Kickstarters and being a small sort of independent creator, but it's much easier to do a one shot than it is to try and sustain a series, which is why we're now probably about 7 years into doing Alex Automatic, and we're just about to finish off production on issue 6. So it takes a while to get these things done, because everybody's we're all working, we're all doing our day jobs and stuff like that, and trying to fit in these projects when we have some time. I love a one shot, and I'm glad I'm glad that's kind of fed into the stuff that I do, and people enjoy it, because I really like doing them. I like it done in one. I like giving everybody the whole story in one go.
And for people that missed the Kickstarter, that now they hear about it and realize what they missed out on because they were sleeping at the wheel. This will be available on your site as well with the rest of your titles, right?
Yeah, that's right. On my Big Cartel page, yeah. Just Campbell Comic.
I highly recommend people go check out your page, because you have a lot of other great books on there, like Alex Automatic.
Get Indexed if you haven't read that.
Indexed is fantastic. You have the work you've done with Ian as well, like The Edge Off. House of Sweets. I mean, you have a lot of stuff on there for people to check out. So there's not just that one book. You have you've built up quite a resume there. So I mean, yeah.
Johnny mentioned Index, which I did with my friend Lucy Sullivan, who's just amazing. Just very, very, very. I mean, she's sort of heading towards the stratosphere really at this point in time, and I'm just very lucky to have had a chance to work with her, really, because I think she's too good for me now, to be honest.
Yeah, she did the barking and something just recently too. She funded something.
Yeah, Shelter. She's doing a new series called Shelter, which is
Shelter.
Just an absolutely fantastic, again, sort of working class magic realism sort of comic book about basically supernatural people in 60s and 70s London. Absolutely brilliant. Check out Lucy's work if you can. She is amazing, genuinely amazing.
Yeah, awesome. And then we get to John, who I met through Johnny on the show. And you just wrapping up the Nasties, just wrapped up, I believe.
Oh no, it's still ongoing. It's an 8-issue series. Issue 4.
Oh, it's 8. I thought it was so it's 8. It's not 5. Okay.
Oh yeah, no. So plenty more Nasty to come.
Okay, perfect.
Still good.
And that's through Vault. That's coming out on Vault. You're up to issue.
That's done with artist Adam Cahoon, colorist Kurt Michael Russell, and letterer Jim Campbell.
And you're up to issue 5 or 6 now?
Issue 3. There was a bit of a delay.
Okay.
Not an hour ended. We were well ahead of schedule. I think it was like some sort of just technical stuff, whatever.
Okay.
But so it's all back in track now, and issue 4 is coming out in just under 2 weeks. And then it's going to be monthly from there, so running through the rest of the year.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, that book had a couple of delays, so that's probably why some people are kind of wondering. Oh, I thought it was because initially, like you said, but yeah. So it's nice to have it coming back. Yeah. Yeah,
no, like everything's all on track, and like you're saying, like I've seen like. Adam's actually finished just sending us the pages for the last issue 8. Like, that's how far ahead he is, and like it just gets better and better. So I'm really excited for people to see where the story's going and how things develop from here. So for anyone who doesn't know, it's kind of like a coming of age horror comedy set in 1990s Scotland against the backdrop of like the Video Nasties moral panic. Which was kind of like, for any American viewers, was kind of like Britain's version of the Satanic Panic, only in our cases it was like horror movies and video shops and stuff, which were the subject of a public hysteria from the right-wing media and various provocateurs. And the story follows a Thumper Connell, who's this kind of lonely horror-loving teen, and his imaginary friend, who is the star of his favourite slasher movie. And him and Thumper and his friends kind of end up getting a hold of this cursed videotape, and then that kind of gets tied up in them trying to make their own horror movie.
And Ian did a variant cover for that, right?
Yeah.
Which issue is that for?
Issue 1.
That was for issue 1. Okay.
Yeah, it was really nice to be asked to do that. Yeah, that's cool. Nice to be there.
That's great.
Yeah, that's cool.
Nice. So now we have all 3 of you here. Like I mentioned before, I don't know how often you guys get to hang out or talk, the 3 of you all together. I know just recently I saw you guys post that Fraser and Ian got together and hung out a bit, because I saw the post on socials. So yeah.
Well, you posting pictures of me on social media?
It's like my Patreon page.
To be honest, mate, I'm actually just photocopying you. Yeah, I'm just pasting your head over Brad Pitt. Yeah.
I'm just thinking. Yeah, it was just last Saturday we went to that strange Conjuring House style shop in the Barras. Remember that? It was like that film, The Conjuring, when we're looking about and it was all the weird artifacts and Annabelles and glass. Not a good place.
Yeah, we were hanging out a couple of weeks ago, and there's a sort of open market in Glasgow called the Barras. It's a world famous ancient sort of market where you can go. The sort of tagline is you can buy anything, you can find anything there, kind of thing. And we did end up in this kind of sort of weird shop that was just like full of really strange. Sort of,
like a bad anthology film where everything you buy is cursed or something like that, or every single item.
Yeah, it's like Mr. Needful shop. It's like,
yeah.
Hand modified dolls and things like that.
Yeah, not good.
Not good. The premise for like a kind of story one of us would do, kind of like a little.
Well, yeah,
what's that book? Like Needful Things or something, but like
that's what it's like. Yeah, it's like that. Yeah. So, and I saw John a couple of months ago. We went for dinner.
Oh
When
yeah,
you're up
yeah.
here,
I was
you're up
through
here.
Edinburgh and we had a wee meet up.
Yeah. So we do keep in touch pretty regularly though. We don't get to hang out too much, but we do keep in touch.
John and I are in the writers group together, so we speak quite a lot. And
Yeah, it's us and a couple, and it's all Americans apart from us, so we kind of like
that's
have the wee Scottish contingent represent.
Yeah, so we've got to represent the west of Scotland, haven't we?
Well, it's definitely three. I mean, the three of you definitely do Scotland proud. I mean, the work you put out. I mean, the work you guys have put out. I mean, it's, as far as I'm concerned, it's quality work. So I mean, nothing anyone should be ashamed of. Speaking of that, are any of you going to Thought Bubble this year? Did it already go by, or is it coming up?
Nope, it's November. I'm going to be there.
Yeah,
I'll be there too. Yeah. I'm not tabling this year for two reasons. One, because I actually just fancy going and actually getting to enjoy it and not having to try and sell stuff. And the second reason being, well, this second reason goes into two parts. The first part being, I usually table with John, and John's now got so many books, he pretty much needs a whole table himself. And the second part is, I'm sick of watching this guy outsell me 20, 30 because he's the best salesman on the floor.
It's unreal. I've never seen anything like it. I've genuinely never seen anything like it. Never seen anything like it.
The P.T. Barnum of indie comics.
I'm feeling forlorn. I wouldn't have like Fraser next to me though, because like.
Oh, I'll be there. The thing is, I'll be day drunk. So you're
day drunk.
When we first started tabling,
I'm probably just going to go a bit mad.
When me and John first started tabling, I'd never encountered. So I've always been quite kind of reserved in the. Here's my thing. If you like it, buy it. If you don't, just move on. All good. But I'd never. And when we did Emily, and like John's out in front of the table, stopping people, and have you read Emily Was Gone and Emily Was Gone? Have you read and then Emily Was Gone? Just all day. It was quite a thing to see, to be honest. But it worked. You know what I mean? It absolutely worked. People did.
One of
Especially in America and stuff.
pictures of us, Ian, is it's like, I think it was in the Edinburgh Comic Con, and it's a picture like one of the people was walking around the table taking pictures of all like the the tables and booths, and the picture is the two of us side by side, and you're like this, or you're taking a picture, and I'm like, and it was just like I captured our vibe completely.
There was somebody that had annoyed me though. There was somebody that had done something. I can't remember. There was somebody that had just been a bit. But also, I remember that when we were directly across from the girl from Game of Thrones, which had a big queue, but it was nobody I could. And I didn't watch all of Game of Thrones, but this was at the time when I was watching it, and I do not recall her being in it. But she said she was in Game of Thrones, and there was a queue, and I just thought, you're missing a trick. We should just have said comic by Game of Thrones. When I got a queue, that was the thing. So,
I was in Game of Thrones. I played the dragon.
Yeah, well, you were probably in it as much as she was in it, from what I can remember. So I don't know. I don't know who she was, but yeah, that's a trick.
Yeah, no, I kid. Obviously, John's a pleasure to table with, but yeah, I mean the guy is a salesman.
He said through gritted teeth there.
No, me and Fraser always have such a good time. We always have some running gag, which we start at the beginning of the weekend. This builds and builds over the course until we're just having each other in hysterics.
I know, it's not worth mentioning because it's just, but it's just something that was funny to us.
Yeah, what would happen every year is we would have this thing, we'd start it, and we'd start like laughing toward putting each other in hysterics, and someone would come up and say, what you're laughing about, and we'd try and explain it, and they would just like look like.
Exactly, because it's one of these things. It's only funny to you, kind of. Yeah.
I've remembered why I was annoyed. Do you remember that someone asked me to do a commission, and I said, "Who do you want?" And he said, "Can you draw my character?" And he brought out a badly pixelated drawing of like an old school computer game guy, and he went, "Can you draw him?" And I was like, so it was money, so I just drew it, and then he came back and he looked at it and he went, "Can you not make his top tighter?" And I went, "I don't know what this conversation is," and he just threw the money down and walked away. Remember? I remember he came back and asked me to draw a worm thing. Another
thing.
Yeah. Had them all.
That would do it.
I remember that guy.
Apparently he's well known.
I still remember my big memory from our table at that show was like the little kid who, while you were talking to somebody else, the little kid walked over and started looking through your portfolio pages, and we could see his emotion, like he was getting towards like the nude scene, and then he was got an issue 4. It was like, no.
I don't know if you remember this, and I don't want to obviously go off on a tangent, but do you remember the man who bought the page of Emily that had never read Emily?
No.
Remember the man who paid for the page of Emily only because it was the scene from near the end of the comic, I'm not spoiling it, hopefully, where the innkeeper basically opened. Yeah, do you remember?
Yeah, I know the one you mean.
And he had not read the comic, so the only reason for paying £75 for that page was because there was a drawing of a naked old fat woman.
Yeah.
That was all that was on that page.
With the wild bush? The wild bush?
That's the one. He had never read the comic, he had no idea the context of the page, but he paid me full price. I've never felt so dirty, but I took the money.
We filled half an episode on that panel, man. Like,
just that bush.
If it's still intact, some guy's got that there. So
some guy's got a shrine to that in his home.
$75. That's a steal. Damn.
A steal? Yeah, absolutely.
I know. That was yeah. I sold every page of that comic. I don't have one page left, apart from I gave you and Colin a page.
I've got a page on my wall.
I think Nick Tarrant's got a few.
I've bought a couple of them.
But I think all of this, I have nothing left.
A wall of sort of Bonnie Shaw commissions I've had done by various artists. I've got a Bonnie Shaw Titan wall. It's got Emily Carroll, Bonnie Shaw, Alex Cormack, various other folk. But the centerpiece of it is like the one page from when Emily was gone issue 5. I think it's like one of my favorite pages. It was the one where like Bonnie Shaw's like facing off a Hellinger, and like that's like the kind of centerpiece of it all.
Nice.
Prized possessions.
I'll always remember the fact that Riley Rosmo did such an incredible cover for that even in my head, when I think Bonnie Shaw, I think of Riley's drawing rather than my drawing. It's amazing. Such a great drawing. I loved it.
Yeah, every time we have John on, we harass him, tell him he has to. You guys have to launch a Kickstarter to do like another hardcover edition of that book to get it out there for people again.
It's something we've talked about. I mean, I don't think it's something that necessarily won't harm. But yeah.
It's the 10th anniversary, so
that's a good idea. Actually, fantastic idea.
Yeah.
I believe 10 years have passed, Ian. I feel like I'm turning to dust before your eyes.
It's scary. I was just thinking about the New York Comic Con today, actually, because I was talking to somebody about it and how amazing that was. Just everybody was so into it. I just was not ready for that at all. Do you know what I mean? I'd been doing kind of weird comics, and then suddenly to make something that people would come up and they were getting so much from it. It was bizarre. I was not ready for that at all. Do you know what I mean? And it was funny as well because we were Scottish, so we could just tell them anything. Remember, people were asking if Bonnie Shaw was real. Oh yeah, we were told that from kids.
The scary thing was though. Remember that guy? It was like, I remember Bonnie Shaw from when I was a kid.
I know. No, you don't. No, you don't. But that's that's amazing. That's amazing.
One of my favourite memories from that New York Comic Con, and you were there as well, Fraser. You came along.
I was there, I was there.
But one of my favourite memories was we were at that bar after the show, and like some guy just came up to us at the table and we're like, and he was like, "Are you Iain Laurie? The Drew and Emily was gone?" And you were like, "Yes." And he was like, "Can you tell me what happened? What was the deal with the end of that book? What happened?" And he's like, And then you said, "What do you think happened?" And the guy said, "Well, I think this, and this." Then you went, "No, that's what happened."
I mean, I'm always, David Lynch is my hero, so you're always going to get a David Lynch answer. You're never going to get, "I know what happened." And I think we've both talked that me and John have got maybe even different ideas of what happens. But yeah, no, it's up to you. It's like it's all of that. There's a lot of stuff going on there that people go, "What does that mean?" It's like, just what do you think? You know what I mean? What do you think? It's more interesting.
That trip next year, guys.
Wow. That was a genuinely amazing holiday. That really was. Pretty great. Pretty great. I love New York Comic Con. Such a pleasant, everybody was so nice. I was so thrown by that, you know what I mean? It's just everybody, if somebody bumped into you, apologise. That's That's not here. That's not here. You know what I mean? It's not here.
That's not New York either. I don't know where you were at.
Well, yeah, to be honest, Johnny, yeah, when I was out in the streets in New York, yeah, but the Comic-Con, everybody was so polite, so nice. It was crazy. It was such a great time. Such a great time. You know what I mean?
Which is actually New York Comic-Con is next weekend, right?
Yeah, I'm doing intense FOMO. I'm not being there.
Is that your first one you've missed, John?
And I missed last year as well. Obviously, I missed a couple of years. I missed a couple of years of COVID, 2020, 2021, and then like I haven't been like last year or like the year before. Like I've been applying for tables, but obviously it's been getting harder and harder to get a table. I've been getting turned down.
Is it? Crazy.
I'm serious thought to go into an American con next year, not necessarily to exhibit, but I didn't do anything very special for my 50th because it was right in the middle of COVID. So I quite fancy maybe going to Heroes or something, you know?
Yeah, I've just had a terrible flashback. Fraser, do you remember we went to, I think it was Robert Kirkman's Image party?
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember.
And then the next day I had to do commissions in front of people. That was not pleasant. Just sweating, smelling the drink, trying to draw it. Oh, my hand wouldn't stop shaking. Oh, it was terrible. That was a real lesson learned. Don't drink and
that's what makes real comics.
We did stay out very late that night.
Oh, geez.
It was good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good party. Good party.
We're just reminiscing now. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, sorry.
This is what it's all about. I mean, this is the good stuff, you know. Yeah. So like Emily was gone, but that's when because I started following Iain on socials before I read, and then Emily was gone. But I hadn't made the connection because he posted like these interpretations of The Simpsons, and I was like, "This is sick! This is so demented, but I love it." And then I started following Iain that way, and then we started like we were gonna have John on the show, so like started reading Sync, and then Emily was gone. I was reading it, and then like halfway through, I'm like, "Wait a second, I think this is the same guy I've been following on Twitter." And then it all came together, and I was like, "Oh shit, yeah." So I even found Iain before I even read, and then Emily was gone. And I gotta say, people, if you're watching this or catch it on the replay, go follow Iain on socials because you're quite active. You post a lot of stuff. You do a lot of homage covers to some of your favorite books, and I mean they're fantastic. I mean, oh, it's a treat. Every time you post something, I'm like giddy. I'm like, oh yeah, let's see what this one is. And you should pick a cover.
You should pick a cover, and I'll do one. You pick a cover for me, and I'll do the next one. I'll do your cover. No, you think about it. You can send me on, and I'll do that. I'll do the next one. Okay, because I had one that wasn't working out. So one of my favorite covers was one of the first comics I got that my mom bought me at a yard sale. Is Swamp Thing #9, where he's coming out of the water. That is always one of my favorites as a kid. That was one. I think I know the one. He's in the he's like in the foreground, and there's people at the bank of the thing, and it's like a famous Bernie Wrightson one.
Do I have it on my wall? Yeah, the bear. Yeah, that's. But I could find the JPEG and send it. What else was there? There was Uncanny X-Men 187 with Wendigo. With it's a John Byrne cover with the girl on the ground with the
Alpha Flight, the one that led into the Alpha Flight thing.
Then he's like his arm, and there's the blonde with the plaid, the red plaid. There was that one too. That was one of the first comics I ever got that my mom got me.
Okay,
like, those are great covers. I love those too.
Maybe the Wendigo one even more so, but think about that. Yeah, they're good fun to do. To be honest. So.
I mean, I think someone even wrote an article on you doing all those Batman covers. It seems to me like last year, I think someone wrote an article.
I did a drawing. Just a quick. It was honestly a 20-minute drawing of a redesign of Batman and the Joker, and Screen Rant picked it up and wrote a big article about how my redesign. That was it. Then from that, I think I did a lot more covers from that, so it kind of preempted that. So I thought, okay, well, people like me doing weird Batman, let me do loads of weird Batman, and then it just started going into like, Silver Age covers are the best to do. That you can just, and it's just a matter of drawing Hal Jordan, but making him smoke a cigarette, and making everybody look a bit disheveled.
Bob with a cigarette hanging out his mouth.
Everybody looks a bit drunk. There's a Charlie Kaufman, being John Malkovich and stuff like that. He wrote a script that was never filmed called I think it was called Frank or Francis, and the opening, the description of it before you go into the film is basically something is wrong here. Everybody's clothes are too tight. Everybody's sweating. Everybody looks tired and ill. And I thought, yeah, that's the key. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's what I can apply a lot of that to the comic.
I think you've also done the most accurate depiction of Donald Trump. I mean,
that was popular, man.
That was so good. I was like, man, that imbues the man, like just his essence and everything. I was like, oh, that was just a work of art. That they should hang that in museums. And like this is the man, and this is exactly what he is. You know, like
in the White House. The president.
I actually think it could have been so much worse, but. One version I did of it was getting to the point where you couldn't really tell it was Donald Trump. It was more just like this kind of. It was like something out of a David Cronenberg film with some wisps, like orange. And I thought that I'll like this, but nobody will notice it's Donald Trump. But that might show up eventually. You know what I mean? So yeah. So hopefully my dislike seep through. But he's so easy. One thing I didn't post was when he was arrested, all his cronies were arrested at the same time. And I did a big thing of all of them. And halfway through it, I was like, I don't want to colour this in. And I just gave up. You know what I mean? So that happens a lot. I'll get halfway through a drawing and go, effort isn't worth the doing it. So yeah. But there was Giuliani was especially, I did a good one of him.
Yeah. Well, he has like that effect of an Iain Laurie character, just his flesh melting.
Yeah, they all do though. They all do, really. It's just, if you look at them, they all do. They've all got that kind of, something's not right here, you know.
We say quite often when we're out and about, and again, Ian and I sort of grew up in Ayrshire in Scotland, which is a little bit sort of rural and inbred.
Fraser just got cancelled right there.
Well, it is a bit, you know. And,
I'm not agreeing to these comments, just in case.
He didn't say it was very inbred, just it was a little inbred.
And every now and again, I would see somebody. I'll see somebody who I think, oh, there's an Iain Laurie drawing.
Yeah. This is. I think somebody asked me that once. It was like, so I used to live in Edinburgh. I used to get this bus from Edinburgh into the city. I lived in the outskirts of it, and that bus was unbelievable. And so much stuff came out of that bus, and also people I've worked with. And I thought, you're like, there's one. I don't know if I should say. There's one guy I worked with, and he is every weird drawing I've done. It's a variation on him. He was unbelievable. He ticked every strange box, from peeling skin to a pointy nose but a fat face, and his trousers were always pulled up. His belt was always pulled up too high, but he rested on it and stuff like that. And his clothes were always too tight, and it was just incredible. And his jackets always had loads of zips, which is always great. It's loads of zips. So he has turned up in so many variations. And even
Bonnie Shaw.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is that what Bonnie Shaw was based on? It sounds like you're describing the Bonnie Shaw.
Bonnie Shaw is based on two specific people who I'll never tell you who they are. But it's a woman I worked with and a man I worked with. And he is a composite of them.
We still have time, so we'll see. We'll see later after you've had a few more drinks. We'll see. Maybe
the influence was, the guy who was part of it. He had a jumper that smelled so bad and always looked like stuff had been pulled out of it, and it was always the same jumper, no matter what day. It was always, and it smelled like a jumper that had been on for a while. And that was the beginning of Bonnie Shaw. Was that jumper? The actual Bonnie was. Yeah, based on women. Oh. I know the women who, they're not. I didn't add that much.
Something just popped into my head, and I want to ask Fraser this before I forget. Did you pass your driver's license?
I haven't sat it yet. because
Okay. So I know you've been posting on socials your adventures and learning how to drive. So I was just curious how that was going.
I was not ready. It's in about a month or so, and
Yeah.
I might.
Joe, I know the reasons he's doing it. I know the reasons he's doing it. I still don't understand it.
Yeah. So I can do stuff. Yeah,
Mhm.
Took me 11 attempts to pass my driving test. By the time I
Wow.
finally was sick of driving.
I have
never
not.
drove much afterwards.
I have not passed my driving test, so there you go. So I'm I sat it once about 30 years ago and went, "This isn't for me." Never went back. So,
It's because I'm not, for just context for the Americans listening, like here in Scotland we're more used to horseback, so like trying to like ride a car is quite difficult.
yeah. I'm not gonna laugh at that.
Is that like a European thing? Because everything's so close and easy access by training everything. That's why a lot of people don't get their driver's license.
Yeah, I mean, I've always lived within either walking distance of my work or walking distance of where I need to go. And I live out in the sticks now, but like there's still a 15-minute train journey into town. So, so yeah, I've never really needed it.
Personally, I'm just at the point where I am feeling just too old to be standing on freezing cold train platforms and waiting on buses in the pouring rain, and just. Yeah, I figure I've plus it's also just like trying something different.
You want a Corvette, right?
I'm just going to be peeling around the corner and stuff like that.
Oh, I'd love that. Love it. I'd love that.
Yeah,
I'd love a midlife crisis.
It's something that I've decided I'm going to do, and I usually try and see those things through, even though. It's not. I've not picked it up as easily as I hoped I would.
I don't know if you guys would like to play like just a casual little game. I kind of went and found some like either popular or famous trios, and we were gonna pick them. And I was thinking you guys could like pick who's who out of you guys. Who would be who? So Johnny and I went and found like a bunch of like trios, either known famous trios or just like I don't know, Johnny. Which one would you like to do first to let them take a stab at it?
I have one in particular, and there is a kind of a likeness between these characters and the guys that are on the screen right now.
All right, so let's do it. So
What was Sam on with the glasses?
Simon.
Yeah. I can see the one in the green hoodie is quite tubby, so that would be me again.
Do you know? This might be terrible. I don't really know anything about Alvin the Chipmunks at all. They were never a thing for us. They were never a thing for us as kids. We never got them here really, so I don't know who's.
Yeah, because that isn't Disney, right? So that was probably what didn't have as much world appeal. Probably.
No.
Like it started like these guys did like a Christmas song, and then they sped it up and like.
In King of Queens, I think they do a thing. I remember in King of Queens there an episode about that. I think, but that was my only knowledge of it at all. So I would say I'm the one with the hat probably because I've got a hat on. So I don't know. He's got a hat on. I've got a hat on. I am him, and he is me.
Alvin, yeah.
That goes for you as well, Joe, because you've got a hat on as well. So you're also me.
I'm the chubby one.
I'm the glasses one.
You're the glasses one, yeah. Although we're all really these days.
Which one do we have next now, Johnny?
Yeah, we'll do this one.
Oh yes, the three Spider-Men.
To be Garfield, but I'm probably Maguire.
Let's see you dance.
I think I'm probably Garfield. Like I had a wee shot, and then that was it. Do you know what I mean? Whereas you continue to do work, and John's still full of youthful enthusiasm. So
he's Holland.
For the first and only time in my life, I'm going to say I think I'm Andrew Garfield. So yeah.
I'll take Tobey Maguire all day, to be honest. Yeah, great.
Yeah,
I love those movies.
Yeah, and John's got the kind of youthful. Oh right. I'm McCoy. 100%. Not even a question. I'm McCoy.
So who's the ladies' man?
Fraser.
I'd say I'd have to be. I probably would be Spock.
All logic. Cantankerous, sour-faced, that's me, that's McCoy. Ladies man,
I would say Tuck because out of the three of us, I'm probably the most likely person to do a spoken words album.
Yeah. In fact, you probably have done one. Let's be really honest. Whether you can remember it or not, you've definitely probably done. I'm sure we have actually done something like that.
I would be Spock because I'm an alien.
Transformed man.
Yeah, definitely. That was an easy one. Yeah.
And I've met William Shatner. I met him at New York Comic Con in 2014. Just tying that back to that conversation. He signed my photo for me. It was very nice.
That's pretty smart. That's pretty cool. Well,
I don't know that.
Nice. All right, what's next, Johnny?
I don't know. I kind of want to say that I would begin with because he's my favourite, but I don't know if I necessarily fit the best.
I don't know. I don't think I've got the chops for any of those three guys.
Yeah, that's just when I embarrass myself about how much I remember about Lord of the Rings.
Well, I know John was a fan.
I would take Boromir because I'm the sort of cowardly one who possibly.
That's good for remembering names and stuff. I'm impressed by that. Boromir was Sean Bean.
Yeah. But character-wise, he was kind of a bell end until the end, and I think that's what
He got to be cool right before he died. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'll take
He fought off the influence of the ring at the end. Yeah. He didn't succumb to it.
I think I'd nominate Ian for Legolas because I imagine he'd be good with a crossbow. So.
Let's take that one. Also, my long faraway stairs. Yeah, So wait a minute, I've been Andrew Garfield and Orlando Bloom. I'm not sure that.
Those are the actors who are vying to play you in the
no.
And obviously, like Fraser's our king, so that's why he has to.
Yeah, I'm not signing up for that, but okay.
All right, next up, Johnny.
We're going with the actual titular group of the episode.
Oh.
I kind of want to be Martin Short just in life in general. So
Do you know what? Fletch was such a big film for me that I'm probably Chevy Chase. If I'm brutally honest,
I'm the greyest, so I'm probably
yeah. It pains me, but yeah, back in the '80s, Chevy was. I thought he was amazing. So yeah, Fletch and what's the other one?
Steve Martin.
And
Steve Martin and. Martin Short, they have such great chemistry in that show.
Only Murders in the Building.
Yeah, they're great together in that. Yeah.
Just before COVID, the week before COVID, the week before lockdown, I went to see them live in Glasgow, and that was unbelievable to see those two then, like live on stage.
It's been cancelled.
Martin Short's one of the funniest guys I've ever.
Of all time, and that Slate article made me so angry. I was, the one where it was like. Slate magazine did an article recently about why we
read that just out the head.
It made me so angry. So usually I'm good with most things, but that one I'm not meant to that. Well done, Slate.
Is that did Martin Short? I heard this or I read this. It's a story about Martin Short where the first time he met Steve Martin, or the first time he was at his house, and he says, "You've got a really nice place. How did you get it? Because I've seen your work."
Yeah, that was a good album.
Brilliant.
It's brilliant.
All right, Johnny, what's up next?
Oh.
I kind of feel like I would have to be Freddie because, I talk the most.
Okay.
Okay. I think, Fraser, if you were William Shatner, then that makes you kind of Michael.
That would be Jason,
Jason.
Michael.
No. Yeah, Michael. So that makes me. I'll take Jason. No, there's a film in that. But yeah, I'll take Jason. Ian versus Jason.
Yeah. All right, Johnny. Next one.
Oh. I don't know any of these.
I can actually answer this one pretty specifically because my partner, is it Patrick?
Yeah.
Yeah, my partner pretty much says I am Patrick. She tells me that a lot, so I'm him. So that's not even one we need to think about.
I'd
So,
love to be SpongeBob, but I'm probably Squidward.
I think I have a
you're
SpongeBob quality to
Squidward.
me.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think you're SpongeBob without question, John. I don't think there's any. I don't think we even need to discuss that.
Yeah, I just spend a lot of time staring at my neighbours with my oboe and just being angry all you know.
Yeah, the police still not. The police have cautioned you about this how many times now?
Yeah, you know, stop hanging your oboe out the window.
Yeah, it's kind of. Yeah, definitely Patrick for me. Yeah.
Cool. All right, Johnny. Yeah.
Oh, no. See, this one I need to think about now. So this is my.
I know, Fraser. I know you guys are all pretty big Batman fans, but Fraser's been posting his, filling out his Batman collection quite regularly. You've been searching for books, so I was like, we have to throw some Batman rogues in here.
Well, that's an interesting one. Aye, who's the most?
Yeah, see, this is a bad move because, like, Batman is my favorite thing in the world, so would have to really think about that one. But
three classics.
The Joker is my favourite, but I would have to say I'm probably more of a Riddler because I'm a bit of a wimp. So
I think you're more the Riddler. I think I'm more Oswald. I think I think especially Tom King Oswald and that. I think pretty much. Yeah.
I don't feel as if I'm homicidal enough to be the Joker, but I'll take him. That's fine.
Yeah, 5 minutes ago you were looking at your window with binoculars, so I don't know what happened. I don't know. Remember 5 minutes ago you were caught looking at your window with binoculars, so we can stop pretending about the homicidal thing. So.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Nice. All right, Johnny. What's the next one? Do we have any more? Oh, okay.
Again, this is not really. I've never really watched the Three Stooges.
Yeah, same. This was never a thing here. I kind of know them. I know who they kind of are, but they never really. Did they show them when we were kids?
I think so. Not very much. Americana, but
yeah.
Well, I'm on Hardy more than them. I remember, but
yeah.
Don't know. Are they not all just kind of just stupid? Is that like not the? Yeah. So all of us, we are all
Three Stooges. All three of us are the Three Stooges.
Yeah.
Capacity for violence.
Any one of us could be any one of them.
Yeah.
Is it Larry, Curly, and Moe?
I want to go the one with
it. That's it. Larry, Curly, and Moe. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go the Curly. I think because I could probably handle the wig better than used to. Yeah, mindless violence. You don't even know who each other are. Very good to me.
Interchangeable. Nice.
Interchangeable. There you go. That sums it up.
Depending on the situation, depending on who's getting roasted or not.
Exactly.
I don't know how many more we have, but I think we have maybe one or two. Last one. Okay.
And this one's not a pick your of the three. This is like which is your favorite of all time?
Oh, right. Okay. It's Christian Bale. So I'm quite committed to that.
Yeah, I mean. Christian Bale is a good shout. I
love Robert Pattinson, though. I love Robert Pattinson. Robert Pattinson's confusing me with my love for Christian Bale, but I think Christian's the one for me. Fraser, and I'm guessing Fraser's going to go Adam West here.
Yeah, Adam West. Yeah,
Adam West.
Yeah.
Honest, I love them all. Really, I think they've all done a great job.
Mm-hmm. They all have their merits. I would say currently I'm a Christian Bale, but Robert Pattinson did make a strong first show.
Yeah, he did. Again, like Fraser. Again, to be honest, they've all got something interesting. Really, I think. I don't think. No, I can't think of one.
They've all brought something to it.
Yeah, even irrelevant to the movies around them. I think they've all brought something interesting to it.
Who does the best Bruce Wayne?
Oh, that's a good question.
Well, I'll answer that. The best Bruce Wayne is probably Ben Affleck, if you want to go comics accurate.
Yeah, I would
My favourite Bruce Wayne, again, is Christian Bale.
Probably most comics accurate. I really like Bale's Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, but I'm just, do you know what? It's such a default for me to say all the Dark Knight trilogy stuff, you know what I mean? So I have to give Ben some props, and I have to give Michael some props, and I have to give the rest of them. But I thought Ben Affleck was a brilliant.
I still think, they all have their moments. I think Bale's Bruce Wayne's so good because like he's just Bruce Wayne for like the first half of Batman Begins. You don't even mind because he's that compelling. It says something. But one of my favourite Bruce Wayne scenes in any medium is Michael Keaton's first appearance in the first Batman movie when he's walking around his own party and no one knows that he's Bruce Wayne. Like, you know,
Yeah,
I think that is like a great big touch.
Yeah, that is a good. That is a good. Those are definitely great scenes there in the beginning.
Yeah. There's a lot to like in the films. Yeah, definitely.
Cool. So that was just a little. I figured we got the three of you together. We'd throw a few things together and let you guys kind of bicker, fight, or easily pick who's what or why.
On the screens, all the screens, because my iPad's like this, it looks like I'm in a kind of A24 film. You know, like they always do that, like Saltburn or something like that. So you know, like full screen, I'm like this, you know, like a Wes Anderson thing or something. But no, thanks for having us on, Joe. That was good fun. Good fun to just chat with you guys and stuff like that.
So speaking of A24 films, what are your favorite horror? Seeing as how we're in the season, what are your favorite A24 horror movies?
Specifically A24. Hereditary.
Hereditary. Sorry, what jump? Sorry.
Yep.
Hereditary? Did you say Hereditary?
I said Hereditary as well.
That would be my favourite A24 horror film.
Yeah, that's mine as well.
I've got a question. Have any of you watched Skinamarink?
Yes.
Not yet.
That's a film. What was that about? that was one of those films I enjoyed that, but I'm not quite sure what I watched. But
yeah,
was that A24? No, was that shut up?
I can tell why folk hated it because a lot of folk really hated it, but like I don't know, I think there was something there that kind of like, you know, in some level it really worked for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not really. What would you say? I'm not really a traditional horror fan. Really, I'm not a big blood and guts guy. But I love stuff like I loved Men. I loved obviously The Witch and The Lighthouse.
The Witch is another one. Forgot about that.
Yeah.
If you count High Life as a horror, which I kind of do, it's a really street. I just love tone and atmosphere for me in a film is just all important. You know, it's
totally. I was thinking of a good. Somebody asked me for a recommendation for a Halloween film, and there was one I chucked out, and I don't know if any of you have seen it. But it's one that really left an imprint on me, so I'd recommend it. It's called Session 9.
Oh, what a movie.
Yeah, and I don't know if you've seen it. It stars David Caruso from CSI and stuff. Is that what you know? And it's basically about a group of workers who are going out to an asylum to take all the asbestos off. Is that right, John? Yeah. And then stuff happens, but the atmosphere of that film is phenomenal. Peter Mullen is fantastic in it as well. And it's one of those horror films, whenever I recommend it, just nobody's seen it. And another one I'd recommend, which I think me and Fraser both really like, is Hour of the Wolf, the Ingmar Bergman film, which is a really good horror film, if you're on a bit more interested.
Actually, just for my newsletter that went out today, I did like the subject was like underrated horror movies or hidden gem horror movies that you might not have seen.
Yeah.
And I won't list them all, but a couple like that I would highly recommend from that, like in terms of like things that are off the beaten track. A movie called Messiah of Evil came out in the early 70s.
My partner watched that last night.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
so weird. One of the most haunting. I think that's the kind of thing you'd like, Ian. It's just so weird, eerie and unnatural. It's like.
Sounds like me. Good.
Yeah, but just like it's pure nightmare fuel. And also Dead and Buried, which is a kind of like twist in a zombie movie from the early 80s, super slept on, done by the screenwriters Did Alien. Really creepy, really kind of like a proper kind of like old school vibe. Really fun.
Yeah, cool. So it's creepy stuff that I really like, rather than blood and guts. Just really sort of unsettling, weird stuff, kind of like what's one I can think of off the top of my head?
Mulholland Drive.
Well, yeah, that's a great one. Yeah, just weird off colours, or like oh god, what was that one I recommended to you? What's that called again? I've forgotten it.
No, Time Crimes.
Oh yeah, there was Time Crimes. That was a Spanish film. That was the one. But
don't think.
there's one from a couple years ago called Let Us Pray from Scotland. It's a really, really cool horror
Was
film.
that a Scottish movie?
Yeah.
With Liam
I
Cunningham.
remember the one I was thinking of. It was
Yeah, actually, it was Florence Pugh. Is Florence Pugh in that?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, I think I have seen that one.
What was the one you remember, Fraser?
She Dies Tomorrow.
Oh, that's great. Oh, that's great. Yeah. That's a weird horror film, but that's an unsettling film.
But it's so far up my street, yeah.
I just realised this has just become us three talking about the film. Sorry.
As every conversation we ever have becomes.
Sorry, Joe, this is what happens every time this just happens. It's just us three just going, have you seen what's that? Have you seen that? Pretty much.
Yeah. But I read your newsletter.
We Ian, that's the stuff to watch, you know.
What was that from a newsletter?
Yeah, I read your newsletter and I read the film section, and I mean, there's a lot of bad horror comedies out there, like really god awful. Yeah. But I love when they hit the mark. Like, and one of the ones you listed, I loved was Little Monsters.
Yeah,
right. That's a great one. I love that one. Shaun of the Dead is a classic. Dale and Tucker. I love that one.
Do you know, like, every year I do a big Halloween party where I have all like my friends round. I do like, you know, a big prop, like the whole house is like done like a big, and like I do like a movie night each night, and every year I do like I announce 3 films that are going to be in the lineup. Then I do like a midnight mystery movie, like a surprise film. And the midnight mystery movie last year was Dale and Tucker versus Evil. No one had even heard of it, and it went down a treat.
It's so good. It's so funny. Yeah, I love that.
It's great. Yeah, like I like the horror stuff. I love the blood. I love everything that's horror when it's done well. I mean, whether it's comedy, serious, psychological. I mean, when it's done well, horror is such a great genre to dive into, and it offers so much, right? Within the genre and the subgenres of it, it offers a little something to everyone, you know. So
yeah, definitely. Everything I've done has been a horror thing, really, hasn't it? Emily, Quilt, even The Edge Off, House of Sweets have all been kind of, even the Horror Mountain stuff. You know what I mean? So it's always been. It's. I mean, I'm a fan of it. I'm not like as big a fan of John of it. It takes a really good one to kind of. I think, like I loved like It Follows, and I loved The Babadook, and I loved Hereditary. I really enjoyed Malignant, which was a great one.
I had a blast for that.
Yeah,
Malignant. That I warmed to it the first time I saw it. Like I could not take it seriously, but like I just watch it for the spectacle. It is insane.
Yeah, it's so insane, and it's just fun. I mean, you're not watching it for it to be scared in any way. It's just fun. It's just it's like James Wan just going all out, and I quite appreciated that. You know
when she kills the whole police station, man, like I just lose it, man. It's
yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. Oh, I'll tell you another good one recently. I saw was called In the Earth, which that is really good. It's about some people doing some checking on sort of flora and fauna. It's set during COVID, and they go out into the woods, and I don't want to tell you anymore, but it is. That was a really good.
That's Ben Wheatley's new movie, right?
Yeah, The Masters. Yeah, brilliant. Love Ben Wheatley stuff.
He kind of went back to. Oh, go ahead, John.
So I was going to say, it's funny how you're talking about how everything like you've done is horror. I've always thought, like, you know, it'd be really interesting for you to do something like totally not horror, like do like a Wes Anderson story or something, or do something kind of like, you know, upbeat, and like in your style of art would give it a kind of frisson, like, you know, but like that balance with the lighter tone.
I'll tell you why. Ages ago, I don't know where it was, but it was at some kind of, maybe like one of those kind of drink and draw things.
Aye. And
it was one of the cues of something like draw a grandpa or draw a grandfather, right? And I just drew a perfectly normal picture of an old man sitting on a couch. And everybody went, "Oh my god, that's terrifying!" And I was like, so I can't." So that felt that Wes Anderson. There's no point. There's no. Everything. I can't for some reason. I don't know what it is. I think it was Nick Pissarro said there's always flies buzzing around people's heads. Everybody's skin's always a bit sallow. Their nose is always a bit. I don't know. It's just what happens. It's what happens. Maybe one day.
I think someone just came on the channel by accident.
Somebody, are you guys illustrators or comic artists? Somebody called Phoenix.
Some of us are. So.
John and Fraser are both writers, and Ian is an illustrator who has actually worked with both of them. The 3 of them are pals, and Ian's worked with both of them, and they collaborate and share ideas and stuff. So all from around the same area of Scotland, and they put out books from out of there. So I've met them all through Johnny, then John, and then from there, and then found out they were a little. I won't say a collective or a group, but definitely friends that make comics, and that's how we got here in this episode.
Yeah, so you should go. Well, I think this is just about wrapping up. But once you finish, you can go back and you can watch the old chat we've had.
Yeah, just watch the chat and see where you can pick up some of the stuff. Guys, I'm gonna have to bounce if that's okay.
Oh yeah, I think we're just.
Do you have anything you want to plug before you go? Do you have any projects coming up you wanted to give people a shout out?
A couple of things coming up. Yeah, it's next issue of Alex Automatic. I think we'll be kickstarting that before the end of the year. That's Alex Automatic number 6. If you haven't backed that already, you'll be able to back that and the trade paperback collecting the previous 5 issues. I also have a fantasy graphic novel with my pal Alfie Gallagher that will be coming in early part of next year, probably March next year. Kickstart that. That's a 64-page full colour. It's going to be an oversized graphic novel. I also meant to mention that you might not know this, but Ian and I also have a digital-only, not quite a comic book, but a kind of a comic project called Cold Dispatches. It's available on Gumtree. It's basically, if you work in an office or something like that, you sometimes get a newsletter or some sort of.
It's all good.
So basically, we did one that's kind of like a newsletter from the workplace and from hell, basically.
I was good. I love that.
Yeah, and so you can pick that up in Gumtree. Just look for Cold Dispatches. But anyway. Honestly, I promised my wife I wouldn't be hours and hours talking. I could chat to you guys all night. I thought before I would go, I would show you my signed photograph of one.
Oh, nice!
Fraser, that's just a whole year
from Comic-Con, right? That's from the New York Comic-Con you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, that's from 2014.
Like
it doesn't look like that. I will be clear. That's quite a flattering photo of him. But anyway, cheers, guys.
Hey, thanks for coming on. We appreciate it. Had a blast.
Bye, guys.
As for me, I've got coming up, I'd say The Nasty, issue 4 is out in October 18th, just over a week away. And the series is coming out monthly from there. Coming soon, I don't know exactly when, but it's getting prepped. We're going to be doing the next Sync Kickstarter, Sync Monsters, it's going to be called. And that's going to be a lot of fun. That's going to be, it's like 2 stories in one. We've got a kind of story focused on crime boss Simon McCurdy and a kind of like our first ever flashback story set in 1950s Glasgow with the Gorbals vampire, which will be a lot of fun. And on top of that, it's just like various other things in various stages of development, which I'll be able to share more about in 2024. And apart from that, you can find me on Patreon, patreon.com/John Lees, or my newsletter, which is deepender.johnleescomics.com. That's deep-ender.johnleescomics.com.
And also, you're going to be at the Thought Bubble as well.
I am going to be at the Thought Bubble. Yeah, I have a table in a Red Shirt Hall, I believe. I can't remember the exact number, but I'm on the map. I'm a guest to the show this year, so come find me. So buy some things.
Thanks for leaving me last. After having to follow that, you and Fraser, so that was good fun. I don't really have much. I've got a couple of covers coming up that I'm apparently not allowed to tell Indy about at this point, so I can't tell you about that. I've got a 1-page comic kind of thing that I don't think I'm allowed to tell you about either. So follow my Instagram. That's really all I've got.
Definitely.
At Iain Laurie. Or at Mr. Iain Laurie.
Mr. Iain Laurie, thank you. I'll let you Mr.
And I can test. Iain Laurie is a fantastic follow on Instagram. You're very active. You post some great stuff on there, so people go follow him on Instagram. It's great. And actually, John's been treating us this month. He's been flexing his visual creative muscles this month by dropping little sketches of little doodles of his some characters he's worked on. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I decided like I was going to do like earlier this year I thought I'm going to try drawing for pleasure. I used to always say just like I'm not never going to be an artist, but I'll just like kind of like draw some stuff for fun. So I got a wee sketchbook and I thought, you know what, I want to make a wee project. I'm going to just start drawing things like, you know, like various characters I've done for like Inktober. I drew them all ahead of time, which is the only way I will actually be able to do Inktober. But yeah, there's some good ones coming up. Let's see. I'll see if I can give you a wee sneak preview of one of my favourites.
Nice.
Yeah, so obviously this was the one that went up yesterday, which was my Bonnie Shaw. I'm not sure if you
Bonnie Shaw, yeah.
There he is.
Oh, there we go. But
Thanks for having the nipples. Appreciate that.
If we're coming up, there's a quilt that I did. But then I have a whole week of like Sync themed drawings, and possibly my absolute favourite thing I've ever drawn is this rendition of Kieran and Louise from Sync 10.
Oh yes, yes,
yes. That's mostly your sketch.
Oh yeah, I love that. I love it. My favorite, hands down, my favorite sync issue. I mean so damn good, so damn good.
Guys, I'm afraid I'm going to have to go as well at this point.
Yeah.
I just thank you for having me. It was really good fun to chat.
Right.
And again, thanks for the kind words and thanks for all the support, Emily, and stuff like that. I really appreciate it.
Really
all right.
Appreciated,
thanks for stopping in.
Excellent.
And yeah, and I say anything you want me to have me back, just let me know.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Bye.
Thanks for hopping on. It was a pleasure. Bye.
All right.
There we go.
That was the Scottish trio of John Lees, Fraser Campbell, and Iain Laurie. It's amazing, dude. Like British, I shouldn't say that. UK creators that enjoy going to American cons. Like, I never thought I'd see the day, man. Like, you couldn't get the like the Band of My Heroes, you know, like the British Invasion guys that I grew up reading. Like, they hate going to cons, man. So to hear these guys love going to New York Comic Con and stuff, that's pretty inspiring, man. And that they would go more often if they were invited. Like, get on your shit, Comic-Con, invite these guys. They're pure talent, man. Like, they write good stuff.
But from the way John was talking, it's been getting tough to try to get tables at the New York Comic-Con now. Like, applying for a table, I guess he said it's getting complicated. It's getting harder.
But that was our early Friday episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I had a blast, man. Those guys are amazing characters. So if you're not following them, check them out, read their stuff. All quality characters, man, all around. Good dudes. So we're gonna be back on the Friday. I know that for sure. We're gonna be doing our Friday the 13th episode, crossover with Fono, and we're probably gonna do something else earlier in the week. Not sure.
We have Mark Bernal of Lesser Known Comics on is it Monday or Tuesday? I don't have my calendar here, but it's either Monday or Tuesday. I don't have my calendar in front of me, but it's one of those 2 days. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm pretty sure it's Monday, right? So
yeah, I think so. If I remember correctly, it's Monday.
Pretty sure you told me the 9th, so yeah.
8:30 start time.
So we'll see you guys then. Take it easy, y'all.
Have a great weekend, everyone.